It has been 10 weeks since the spring semester started. I believe Martin Luther King Day was before our semester began. And traditionally in the United States, the Martin Luther King Day is a holiday and we don't have to come in. But since it was before the semester, obviously we didn't get that holiday. And then I believe we also have President's Day off, except my university, I guess, doesn't recognize President's Day because I don't remember us getting President's Day off. Which means that we've had basically class every single week for every single day, no holidays for the past 10 weeks, with no spring break. And today was the last day before our spring break. So we've had nothing but classes for the last 10 weeks. And as you can probably imagine, we're all exhausted. It's been not just stressful for me. I see other grad students, I won't say they're at wit's end, but you can definitely tell just by reading the room that everyone's kind of in need of a good break. So this video is a little bit more informal. I usually show some math problems and do stuff and show you my well, not necessarily my research. I haven't really started research yet, but I've been asking around what people think and saying like, okay, would they do research with me? What kind of problems do they work on? Stuff like that. I asked several people this past year, including this semester. Let me see how many people I asked. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess technically 7. And who else? I'm just doing a quick head count in my head. Who all I asked. I feel like I'm missing someone big. We'll keep it there. So of all these people I asked, he's retiring. He said no. He just flat out said no. That wasn't interested in working with me. This guy, let me see, these two. He's already retired. But he kept his office. So I just figured I would ask. So what I'm basically saying here is that these guys are no-goes. Which, you know, it's, I don't know, it's a little bit frustrating when you want to work with people and they want to retire, and so you can't do research with them, so that limits your options. And then you have to compete with other people for attention. I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I don't know. It seems like we're limited on faculty is all. So anyway, I asked more or less those 3 people for research problems, and whether or not I can actually, solve them is another thing. But hopefully this much-needed break will help reset me, because I posted a poll on the community tab the other day, what's the hardest part about being a grad student? Most people voted for time management. Time management is way more important than you think it is. It's one of those things you're not really taught because I guess schools don't figure that it's something, it's, in their domain. They're like, okay, that's something you need to figure out. And, you can't really learn it in a classroom. You learn it by doing, and being around other people, watching what they do. And as a result, recently I've been putting things off, which is really bad, and going to bed later, and then it just messes up your sleep schedule. And then you end up waking up too late, and you have to rush to class, and sometimes you miss it. It happened once to me this semester, which isn't good. Unfortunately, it's not the end of the world, but it's something that you really should never do. It always kind of amazes me how, some undergrads, they just flat out will skip weeks and not go to class for a week. Whereas in graduate school, it's like you can't even miss a day. And no one really holds you to it either. You have to hold yourself to it, because grad school, here's one thing that one of my former bosses told me right before I entered the master's program, was that graduate school forces you to do the things that you should have been doing already when you were an undergrad. So when you're an undergrad, you're pretty much fresh out of high school. You know, everything was pretty much done, taken care of for you before, you know, leaving. And then after you leave, that pretty much all goes away. And then you have to figure things out. And then what ends up happening is a lot of people, you know, they'll skip class for a week. Not everyone does that. I don't want to make it sound like that's what most undergrads do. They don't. Some undergrads are they do it. They don't need anyone to tell them what to do. They can absolutely 100% do it themselves. But in graduate school, it's like there's kind of no excuse for it. And by that point, you don't really like you've reached a level of maturity at that point where you just kind of do it, I guess. So anyway, I'm rambling. What am I trying to say? This weekend, or not this weekend, but this spring break, I'm gonna get caught up on things, try and sleep, get some sleep, and clean up the place a little bit, make it look nice, just make everything, you know, because your workspace is also important, you know. I don't know, I guess this table that you only ever get to see is not too bad. I mean, it could be a little bit better, but if you can make it look nice, then, you know, that puts your brain in a good space. So I guess this video is kind of short. I don't really want to say much else. So I'll leave you guys with a analysis problem that I've been working on that I keep getting stuck on, and I'm not entirely sure how to proceed. So maybe someone will see something. So you have a real valued function of a real variable. You're told that it's continuous, and you're told that it's 2 pi periodic. So those are your global assumptions. And you want to prove the following statement. There it is. So we want to show that this integral from pi to infinity of phi x over log x plus cosine x is convergent, so it has some finite value, if and only if the function phi itself is odd. So just to clear some things up, this log function, logx, it's not the base 10 common logarithm that is commonly used for undergraduates. When you get, you know, up to the point of real variables and you start doing those type of math problems, you don't really look at other base logarithms, you know, logarithms of different bases. You pretty much just stick with log base e, so there's no real distinction between the different logarithms. So instead of, you don't really write ln of x here. Log is good enough. It's the grad. I think I had one instructor say it was the grad school version of the logarithm. They just write log. Anyway, what am I saying? So that integral converges if and only if the function phi x is odd. So the definition of odd, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but just in case, odd means that for any x value in R, phi of negative x is equal to negative phi x. That's what that means. And I asked my instructor for a few hints, but he didn't really give me many hints. And it's not like I have to solve this problem. This problem was given to me off the book, so I don't get graded really on it. But I'd still like to solve it because he told me it's kind of a challenging problem. But he did tell me that starting from here and going this way is easier than going from here to here. And when I was playing with it, I kind of saw that was really the easier direction, but I still get stuck. So I know that what you need to do is start, okay, so if you're going to assume this, so I'll show you what I've done. You want to rewrite this integral as the sum of the integral from 2 pi plus, 2 pi plus, wait, what am I saying? Pi 2k plus 1. K starts at 0 to infinity. Pi 2k plus 2 or 3? Do I want 2 or 3? It's 2 pi periodic, so you have to go up 2 pi. 3, I think it is. Okay, and then you write this as phi x log x plus cosine x dx. Okay, so you write it this way because we want to use the fact that phi x and cosine x are both 2 pi periodic. And this log x function is increasing, right? It's an increasing I don't really think we need that it's concave, but the fact that it's increasing is the important part. And we can write it this way, and then we need to get some sort of grip on what's going on here. So what is going on here? This is the part I'm not really happy with. Man, that was a bad summation sign. Or a bad sigma. What did he tell me? So you can rewrite this as summation. Phi log cosine. Except we replaced it with something down here. Oh, what did he tell me? The thing is, though, I was able to rewrite this as this value here is 0, and write something else here. Phi x dx, so what goes here? I think we wanted to write this as cosine x plus log of the lower bound. No, the midway point. Yeah, I think that was the midway point between pi 2k plus 1 and pi 2k plus 3. And here you have cosine plus log. I'm going to be lazy and not write out the full thing, because one of these will reduce to 0 over the integral, and the other one picks up the rest of it. But it's supposed to be written in a way that helps us, but I don't really see how it helps us at the moment. Again, I don't know how to do this problem, but I'm trying to get a grip on it. And then I believe, because phi is continuous and 2 pi periodic, and we've assumed that it's odd, that it is also bounded. So which means that we can write this as less than equal to sum. You can pull out some bound m, and then you have the two integrals. Again, I'm going to write this very sloppy because I don't feel like rewriting it all the time. And I guess if I wanted to be careful here, I really should put inequalities in here somewhere. So maybe I'll put them, I don't know, how about right here? For some bound m positive. Write it very sloppily, why not? So this is kind of where I'm stuck. I don't really know how to do the rest of this. Because, I mean, I kind of see what I want to happen. You want this series to converge, so you have to get some sort of control over this integral, or replace it by something larger so that it converges. I just don't know what that is because this is very foreign. Well, not very foreign, but I don't really see. Obviously, the phi and the cosine, the odd part of this and the even part of that, is supposed to help me somehow. It's just I haven't played with enough to know exactly where to go. But I do know I have this bound here from phi x, so I think maybe the phi, I mean, I think the phi would have to disappear in this case by replacing, although maybe I've taken off too much, you know? Maybe I'm stuck that way. So these are just some of my doodles. Maybe if I have time over the spring break, I'll try and solve this problem, because I've put in a lot of effort into it and just ended up getting nowhere and then throwing it away. And really all I've ever come up with is what you see on this paper. But again, it's kind of a balance. It's between this and, you know, the classes that I take and what exactly I want to get solved before the start of the, you know, the next week. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So if anyone needs me, leave a comment and I'll read it in 7 days when I wake up from my coma. All right, see you later.